Vinney Smile Chopra. Vinney, welcome back.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Vinney Chopra here in my park. I come out here in the morning. What a beautiful day. I'm wearing my glasses, but sun is not shining that much. But it's a beautiful morning here in California, in Black Hawk, California. And today's topic is so important, isn't it? Brother Gualter told me this morning the key thing is I'll let you kind of set it up. Yeah, yeah.
I love setting it up. All right, so Vinny's obviously been walking around California this morning. He actually had to run up the mountain to get to this spot. So one of his iPad things is like dying. So we're gonna make this podcast as quick as possible and as valuable to you as possible. So this
Yes,
wealth
yes,
principle comes from the book, The Four Agreements. And the Four Agreements, if you haven't read
yes.
it, it's one of like the basic books that people start reading get their mindset right. And basically it
Yeah,
just says like stop letting people like step all over you, start loving yourself a little bit more and start taking action. And one of the four agreements was be impeccable with your word. Is like to actually
yes.
be honest, to be like an honest person to yourself and to other people. And how does this tie into real estate investing? Well, as Vinny's going to share with us, this is how you raise hundreds of millions of dollars. People don't give their money to unhonest people. So Vinny, you've recently started two funds. You started $200 million funds. One's for hospitality. The other one is for RALs, residential assisted livings and memory care, or as you call them,
Yes.
MALs, multifamily assisted livings.
Yes, yes, yes.
So how important is honesty with raising capital?
Oh my gosh, it's so important, brother. So impeccable. What we use, see, the words speak what is your integrity, your character, your gumption, what you're thinking, because the words are the only things coming out of our mouth which can make or break our careers, our life, our relationships, everything. And we need to be really impeccable with them. We want to really use the words with integrity. I would say use the words which are responsible nature and conscious manner. Many times people just speak words, right? And then they say, oh my gosh, why did I say that? And then we repent on it, because what happens is once the words are spoken and the other person grabs them, the intent of it, you can be harming them or you can be uplifting them. You can be communicating with them with a good strong desire and vision and everything. But we need to be conscious in a very very conscious way to really tell people what you mean. And let's just go into that, because we can even destroy and manipulate by saying those wrong words. We should be uplifting, is the word, I was looking for. We can uplift, we can inspire people, we can inspire our organizations, we can inspire our relationships. I mean, we could do all those things. So let's go truthfully, honestly, faithfully, and kindness. Kindness is something which is I try to do quite a bit, and smiling in a upbeat way. You should be able to tell other people what you want to say.
I like it. And what do you, there's steps to this. I know there's steps, and you and I spoke a little bit earlier, and I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, what are the 7 steps? So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, Vinny, I'd like to ask you how to do these, because each one of these steps is important for being honest. And coming from a billionaire, somebody who's, built an empire of $1.6 billion with your investors and all these people you got involved with you. I think your perspective is a little different from the average, let's call it millionaire, multimillionaire, or especially a person who hasn't built any kind of wealth and are just getting into real estate and they're learning about syndication, learning about multifamily. So step 1, they say, is cultivate self-awareness. So
You know,
how do you know,
it's
how do you
it's
cultivate
so
self-awareness?
important. Oh my gosh, it's so important. See, when we speak to other people, we also speak to ourselves. So, what's the self talk? I have always promoted that, and in my life also, if you're too negative and you are always saying negative things to yourself, I'm no good, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm missing this, and excuses, that self talk, what we are talking to ourselves, is going to degrade us. So, it's so important that we give a very positive self talk. Now, let's talk to other people around us. So, if, like in my case, investors, right? Accredited investors, when I meet with them, I want to share with them the best of the best PowerPoint presentation, best of the best, all the ideas that we have, and share with them everything with total integrity, honesty, and transparency so that they understand. The other part is that we need to make sure what we are trying to communicate through talking, they are understanding in the same intent what we want them to understand.
I
So
love it.
there are
You just
steps. Yeah.
you just went through and did step two. Step two is speak with integrity. So I'm going to jump over to step three, and three is avoid making assumptions. How does somebody do
Oh,
that? Right. Especially when you're
oh
talking to
my
millionaires raising
God.
capital, hedge funds. You talk to hedge funds now to raise capital. How do you avoid making
You know
assumptions with those
what?
people?
Let me tell you, this is a big one, very big one. Many times people have call reluctance. And I used to have call reluctance or picking up the phone and just feeling that, rationalization comes in our mind. We say, that person doesn't have money. That person cannot know, they won't know the answer to this thing. Or we try to rationalize not talking to that person because we assume that they don't know this or that, or they won't be able to helpful to you. But my thinking is, you know what? Don't rationalize, but get to them and get the perspective within one or two sentences. Ask them what you're trying to ask them. And if they can help you, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But don't rationalize.
Don't rationalize. Yeah,
No.
it makes a lot of sense because
Yes.
I have seen call reluctance take out more investors
Yeah.
than I think any other single
Hmm.
like event in the market. It's actually up
Yes.
here. So fantastic. All right. So how about four? Stay true to your commitments. Why
Oh
is
my
that
God.
so important with capital raising? Why is it so important in real estate investing in
Oh.
general?
Big one. This is a very big one because commitment is the main thing that the investors, the brokers, the lenders, and even in our relationships, my wife, my spouse, Kanchan, and my kids, commitment. Once you commit to doing something, you got to deliver it no matter what, no matter what. If you committed, but you cannot deliver, you go back to that person and say, hey, by mistake, I said this, I did some research and I cannot do what I promised to do it. You got to be straightforward because commitment is something which breaks or makes your career. It breaks your brand. It can really put you down, way down, because if you break your commitment, other people will not trust you.
That's 100%. It's even as a passive investor, I found the same thing with
Yeah.
real estate investors.
Hmm.
So when we're putting our money into something, they ask for a commitment first. Like you've asked many of investors for commitments.
Yes.
What do you decide after somebody says they commit and then they don't commit to, like they can't show up? Like what does that make you think as the investor?
Okay, that's a good point. I would say definitely, like we are doing webinars and all, and I tell my team, hey, you got to, life comes on the way. Yeah, I always say that. People make commitment. They want to join and watch our webinar. We had 33 people on the webinar, and everybody was really geared for 1 hour and 10 minutes or something. But the thing is, we got to remind people if they committed, they want to be at your webinar, remind them maybe that morning, remind them maybe 6 hours before or whatever, then remind them about, through texting or email. There are so many softwares like that. So make it easy for people to deliver on their commitment. That's what I say. Do everything in your power. The other part is commitment for being appointment setting. So, for example, when I give commitment, I make sure my appointments for the morning, I put alarms for me so that I don't miss my meetings. I want to arrive at the meeting a couple of minutes before because you know what? They are taking time out to meet me. So I need to be respectful for my commitment to my time to them. So it's a respect, individual respect, each other respect, that you fill your commitments.
I like that. And committed people attract committed people. You're a committed investor, so I know a lot of the
Yeah.
lenders, the partners you work with, investors who invest in your company, you attract committed people.
Yes.
That's the only way you raise as much as you have. Step five
Yes.
is practice mindful listening, which I know is one of the things I've seen you do. I see you do it at the
Oh,
summit, talking to everybody at the room. You were
ah,
asking
Oh,
questions, listening.
yes,
So how do you
yes.
cultivate that desire to quietly listen, even though you've got a lot to say, right? They should be asking you questions and just listening to you, right?
The thing is, see, the biggest thing is whenever you are in a room with other people around you, you want to listen. You want to see what's the temperature of the room, what's the vibe of the room, what you are trying to say. Is it appropriate to be saying in that frame of mind with other people? So, by listening to people's needs, you could design what to say and what's important to them, what's on their mind. See, a lot of time we speak and speak and speak and speak, but we throw words on the wall. I say that you got to make sure what you are going to tell other person, if they are just you and them, you want to find out what's their thinking pattern. Are they ready to receive? See, they say a teacher appears if the student is ready to learn. A teacher appears. I heard that many, many, many years back. So same thing is true with our communication, our speaking. What you are trying to tell the other person, are they ready to listen? Would they be able to uplift with that thing? What they are hearing from you, is that what they want to hear, or it is solving their problem or not? So it's just a very psychologically act way to see what we are speaking to them. Are they ready to receive? If you're
Fantastic.
just speaking on the wall and nothing is getting registered, and they are in a Wawa land, or something is really bothering them, so it's really important to open a person's mind and thinking. And are they listening to you, or are they just there and looking at and listening to other things?
Too many people talk and say, well, I told them everything, but did you sit there and
You got it.
listen to
You got
see
it.
if it was being received, to see if they were even in a receptive state? So,
Yes.
so powerful. Step 6, I'm going to skip right over because it says use your
Yes.
words to uplift and empower, which you started the
Yes.
call with. Like, that's the whole point of being impeccable
Yes.
with your words, is like you got to make sure that they're used properly. Number
Yes.
7 is embrace the power of silence. It says, sometimes being impeccable with your word means knowing when to remain silent. Where is a time where that's necessary in either negotiations or with working with investors or working brokers, or when you're finding deals? Where do you find silence to be the most powerful tool for you to use?
That's it. Sales principle number one, by the way, in selling. Shut up. You speak, you let the person understand what you're trying to communicate. The first person that breaks the silence loses, you know? So that's where you have to remind yourself, if you ask a question to the other person, you got to shut up. Let them speak, because a lot of times we just want to tell them this. We ask them, like trial close, we call that in sales, right? We
Trial
trial
close.
close and we say, trial close, we say, How do you like it so far?" For example, right? Shut up and let them speak. Let them speak and say, "I like this," or "I didn't like this," because you want to see the buying signs from investor, from broker, from anybody. I mean, communication wise, even with the family, it's my big problem. Everybody's problem is, we don't listen intently when the children want to speak to us, or wife and others, and relationships. And not only that, even in the business sense, a lot of people will come to your room to blah 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 blah, throw up on you. Now let them throw up a little bit, but then you say, "You know what, can I just stop you something? I mean, you're just telling me all the negatives. Have you given a different perspective? Okay, we have a situation. How can we solve it? So let's just change this. Now give me some solutions." So you can interrupt. See, people don't mind interrupting very passionately, and tell them, in a good way, "Hey, I do see there is a big problem, but let's talk about solutions. So I'm going to let you start first."
I love this. Power of silence. For somebody, you and I both talk a lot. We're very capable of talking. We're very, but
Yes,
for you to talk about how important listening is, and then the
yes,
importance of silence, and just sitting there and giving somebody a space to reveal
yes.
all of their concerns. You're
Mhm.
right. It's interesting because it's a sales strategy, but as real estate investors, you're finding that this is how you've gotten to that 1.6 billion. But I know that you've got these $100 million funds because you're going to put another billion down, right? Because you're going to leverage it. You're going to buy, 4 times, 5 times as much. So these funds, if somebody were interested to learn more about what they do, I know we only have like 4 minutes left. If they want to learn more about what each fund was for, what's the easiest way for somebody to go and find out what Vinney Chopra is doing this year, aside from coming to the 100 Millionaire Summit in 92 days? What is the easiest way for them to go to right now?
I would say Victorious Ventures Fund. Just Google that. You'll come to the website. VVEF.net is the website. It explains everything for accredited investors only. 506C. It's a 506C exemption, Regulation D. And the other one is Unicorn Hospitality Fund. Just Google those two and you'll come to the websites, which is unicornenterprise.net. Everything is there. All the prospectus, what we are doing, all the soft commitments are there, how to get accredited, the investor forms are there. So my team is just amazing team. And we have fund administrators, we have SEC attorneys, we got underwriters, my partners. We are working hard, very working hard. The good part is we are vetting every project to the T to make sure that we are able to provide the returns that we are targeting.
Which is huge. I don't want to talk badly about other investors or other syndicators, but I know that people are losing money because they're not paying attention. They didn't do the due diligence. That's something that you've said to me a lot recently is I'm saying no to a lot of deals. You've said no to a lot of deals, right? You've only acquired a few things these past few years. And it's because the numbers are different. The numbers are they're not impossible to work, but the numbers are very different. And it takes an experienced investor to know how to evaluate them.
Totally. Be careful. Be careful. Don't give your money just like that. Don't. Save it and find the right deals. And there is very uncertain times are right now. I mean, the AAA status went down to AA plus, as you all know, yesterday for USA. And the stock market took a big hit. And today also it's taking a little hit. So be careful with your savings and money and take time to find the right operators.
This is advice for every person, not just real estate investors, not just people who are thinking about investing in assets like, for cash flow and rental property, but you really should understand the investment. And it's a lot like hiring a person, hire slow, fire fast. It's the same thing. Like getting into these investments, do your due diligence, connect with your investor, find out what they do, what their experience is. If they've never done a deal before, I hate to be that guy, but I'm not doing deals with people who've never done a deal before right now. This is not the time to do that. And to anybody who does, God bless you, good luck. But my advice is not that direction at this point in my life. At this point in the market, it is experienced operators only, and that will protect you.
Yeah, it will. It will. And again, please join us every Thursday morning, Abundance Mindset. And we talk so many great things about how to take your business to the next level. And today we talked about words, impeccable words. That's so important, so important. And I hope everybody got some good pointers out of it. And join us next week, also on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific. Also, the summit is coming up very quickly. You want to talk about that, brother? Yeah.
Absolutely. So as you know, Vinney will be talking about big deals. So we'll be talking about big vision, big dreams, and he should be able to release the latest version of his book.
Yay!
Positivity Brings Profitability. Maybe a name change, maybe a few extra chapters, but the book hopefully will be out by then. And we'll see you there November 3rd to the 5th. It's all about real estate investing and how we build our 100 millionaires. Each one of us is committed to building 100 millionaires. So we will see you in the room. It is next Thursday, Abundance Thursdays. Vinney will be talking about gratitude, the importance of gratitude, and how we apply it into our business and our lives every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cheers to your success, Prima Choice. Always work with the best. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.